UFC Fight Night Perth, Ulberg versus Reyes. I'll be giving my predictions and breakdown of every fight on the main card. And I will also be giving you my unorthodox stats that I have collected after hours of film and study. All right, I'm ready to go. I took about like 9 Tylenols before this, so you already know I'm dialed in. But one of the side effects of taking 9 Tylenols might be me saying something stupid like, I like power slap. You get the point. Funny joke. Okay, so first fight on the card, we got some dudes that can scrap. We got Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. I'm going to go with Tom Nolan here, but this is going to be a really good fight. Potentially a back and forth fight. I think Tom Nolan's the better fighter out of the two. But you cannot underestimate Charlie's power and toughness. He's very aggressive. He's pretty versatile. Very aggressive. Lacks a little bit on defense. As you could see in the Chris Duncan fight in the Contender Series, he almost had Chris Duncan done. And he's, to be fair, it looked like the fight was over and Chris Duncan did hit him, but there was no sense of urgency from Campbell in terms of defense. So that's what led him getting knocked out. But Chris Duncan is also known for crazy comebacks. But the good thing about him, he smells blood, goes after it. But I just don't think he's skilled enough against a guy like Tom Nolan. I think Tom Nolan's like kind of like a bigger version of a Corey Sandhagen. Less skilled version, obviously. He's also aggressive. Former rugby player, so he's got good explosive instincts, good athleticism. Very versatile with his strikes. He puts it all on the board. Great Contender Series knockout. He got finished by Nicholas Mota, I think. Mota, whatever. He go fuck himself. Stupid name. Nothing to be ashamed about that, It's a tough fight, Great comeback win against Martinez. Shows that he's gritty. He can be a little chinny, though. I've seen him get knocked down a few times. That's what concerns me with this matchup with Charlie, because Charlie hits like a truck, even though he's a fucking tool bag white boy bitch. But, well, at least his haircut says it. says so. So, yeah, I just think they both have potential, but I think Tom Nolan has more potential since he's younger. And he seems like he has a better skill set than Campbell, already at this point of his career. And Campbell's hitting 30, so if he's going to peak, he's got to peak now. So this fight can go either way, but I'll have to go with Tom Nolan on this one. It's going to be a super high-paced fight. I do not see this going by decision. I think this is going to end in some sort of finish on either side. Tom Nolan, his washed-up rugby player vibes, if you're a former athlete like myself and whatever you do next, you really want to do well and you become competitive in it. And that's what he's doing with fighting. And I think it's going to turn out a lot better than playing rugby, that weird sport, more barbaric version of football. I respect it, but it's fucking weird. Yeah, man. He's got the vibes. He would definitely fight a crocodile, and that's definitely not because he's just Australian, That's definitely not where that came from. Fuck you. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Campbell, you gotta really watch out what you're saying in your post-fight interviews. You had that one fight. I think it was back in 23. I forgot who it is against. But you had like some line with a rock, and you like asked DC something. You're like, your opinion doesn't matter, or some shit, or what you think doesn't matter. Boy, fucking DC has you on a hit list, dude. That man, not only he will kick your ass, but he'll eat you alive. He's been dummy thick these days, bro. Anything that looks like fucking like any sort of food, like that little piece of icing on your or whatever the fuck you have on your fucking hair. He's gonna think you're a piece of cake and he's gonna eat you because he's a fat fuck, and he's a dangerous fat fuck. He's like a hungry hippo. You better watch out, man. But anyway, I think you're going to lose, Charlie. Going with Tom Nolan. Would not be surprised if Charlie knocks him the fuck out, but I think Tom Nolan is going to knock him the fuck out. So we're going with Tom Nolan. Speaking of the Hungry Hippo, we got 2 of them right here with the Ozempic of the week. No pun intended. We got Justin Tafa versus Louie Sutherland. I'm going to have to go with Justin Tafa here. I think he's a great fighter. Just kidding. I took too much Tylenol today. I'm going with Sutherland. He's more versatile. He's more skilled. He's also fat. He's like a muscly fat though. He's like built like an ox, you know, like a fat ox. I was watching his previous fights. A little boring, but he's got decent leg kicks and nice kicks for a big dude. He mixes it up more. He'll play on the clinch. He'll grapple. He'll play the tip tap game. He'll invest in the leg kicks, and I think, that type of game plan against Justin Tafa is great. Start with the calf kicks, break down his legs or his lead leg. Tafa only has a right hand, so that's the only concern for Sutherland, just to not get hit. If he gets hit, he will probably go down. 2 tubby guys, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So you already know the deal. This is a good matchup for Sutherland. And I think the UFC is very desperate in terms of the heavyweight division. They don't really have anyone, and they've had good fighters like Jairzinho Rosenstrike and a few others I can name. They've cut him. I don't know why they cut him. They don't have that many guys in the division, but then they're cutting the only decent fighters that they have. I really don't understand. So I guess this is like the UFC's way to like start rebuilding. And also they're trying to get a lot of contender series guys to kind of like revamp the competition. I really don't know. Sutherland should win this one. Like, Tafa's literally Mark Hunt from Temu. Just like a cheap version of Mark Hunt, like Mark Hunt at home, Yeah, he fucking sucks, dude. I mean, he hits hard and he's cool and all. He's got like the aura after he gets like a nice knockout and walks away. Little fat fuck, but like, honestly, dude, he should get on Ozempic and start cutting it down a bit. They're not like, he's not a heavyweight. He's just a fat. He's a fat middleweight. He should be in middleweight, but since they like to eat and they have the diabetes, they stay fucking fat and they hit hard, but then they fucking suck. And then you got a record of 7-5, but everyone was like, "Oh, Justin Tafa's good, bro. Justin Tafa, watch out, bro. He hits hard, man." Having a record of 7-5. And don't get me wrong, Sutherland's nothing special. I don't really expect much out of him. I could see him going like top 10, but like, not past like top 8 or something like that. He's really not that good. He hasn't really fought anyone that credible other than like the King of the Hill staff. Beat the shit out of Hank and Bobby. Bobber? That was Hank after Bobby got knocked out by Sutherland in the backyard. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Sutherland. I think Sutherland is gonna catch Tafa with like a DDP style blitz, kind of like a retard mode. Fucking hit him 1, 2, 3, and then his belly is gonna go against Tafa's belly, and then he's gonna use his clinch work, put him on the ground and pound, and that's it. We got one sweaty behemoth standing up, and one of them laying down. Well, Tafa's not really a behemoth. He's just a fat fuck, a fat cow, a brown bag of milk, chocolate milk. Well, he's not that dark. Well, whatever. He sucks. Sutherland's winning. On to the next fight. We got Jake Mathews versus Niel Magny, the Turkey Vulture, or the tired-looking Turkey Vulture. There's a lot of good fights on this card, even on the prelims. This is a great card. Whoever's saying this card sucks, like, you know what you're talking about, man. There's some great matchups here. Maybe not the biggest names, but these fights are going to be great. We could see probably one of the best cards of the year. We'll see. I think it can happen. But anyway, this matchup here, it all depends on what Jake Mathews or which Jake Mathews shows up. If it's the real Jake Mathews, he's gonna fry up that ugly ass turkey vulture. He's gonna put some work on him and probably gonna finish him. But if the fake Jake shows up, that turkey vulture's gonna eat his ass. Metaphorically, not literally. And by eat his ass, like beat the shit out of him and put some clinch work and do some gay ass ground and pound and shit. That's what Niel Magny does. Niel Magny's always game. He's good. He's good. He's dangerous. Well, I shouldn't say good, but he's dangerous. And the fights that he's losses are against good fighters. Like really good fighters like Michael Morales, Ian Gary, Carlos Prates. Those are good losses. Those aren't bad losses, I think I don't know if I would put Jake Mathews at their level, but we'll see. This is a big test for Jake Mathews. Seems like he's getting better. His last fight against Chitty, he ended it pretty quick. Got on his back and got him with a nice like a nice little backpack choke there. That's the most casual way to say it. My brain's not working from all that Tylenol. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think Jake Mathews should have this in the bag. If he doesn't show up, if he makes a mistake, Niel Magny is always dangerous. You definitely want to be on your A game against Niel Magny. I just think he has really good hands, fast hands, great footwork. And I think this is a favorable matchup for him. I think his boxing and his movement is going to be too much for Niel. I don't think Niel is going to be able to catch him or grab him against the clinch. I think it's going to be too fast. So hopefully Jake Mathews can pull this off and win this match and potentially start bumping up the rankings. But if not, it'll be another fraud check by Niel Magny. And this wouldn't be an actual fraud check. This is more of like a test. But man, the tired turkey vulture, Niel Magny. Like a turkey vulture. Like, they're not gonna attack you. They're not gonna attack their prey, but they just wait for the opportunity. They see you with a hurt leg, and you're dying slowly in the middle of nowhere. And that turkey vulture's like, caw. I'm gonna wait. And then I'm gonna eat your ass when you fall asleep. That's Niel Magny. They're just gonna wait until you're on your most vulnerable, you make a mistake, and that's when he capitalizes. So, Jake, be on your A game. All right, next we got the Wild West Aussie versus some Puerto Rican guy. Yes, I know he's not Puerto Rican. I'm pretty sure he's Dominican, but some Puerto Rican guy just sounded funny. So, and him being from Orlando, makes it even better. This is a good fight, good scrap. They're both great fighters. I will be siding with Jenkins on this one. I think this matchup favors him. He is a kicker. He's very rangy, and I think he's a more skilled fighter. Lacks takedown defense. That's the danger. That's one of the only dangers of this matchup. That and Taveras' crisp boxing. So, if Taveras is gonna win this, he's gonna have to utilize his wrestling and mix it up. If he takes down Jenkins multiple times and he struggles to get up or whatever, whenever Jenkins gets up, he's going to start worrying about the takedown, and that's going to lead to openings, and that's where Taveras' boxing will come into play, and he probably lands some good shots. If Taveras were to win, that's how it would go. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Jenkins will do well with his movement, and he will utilize his leg kicks and body kicks on Taveras. Taveras has a very boxing style, so that leaves a lot of openings to body kicks. Nothing against Taveras. I did say that he looks dumb. He probably is dumb. He's not. He's a good fighter. He comes from a good gym, and he's tough as heck. So he is bumping up weight. He has a lighter man skill, so he could show that in terms of the boxing. The grappling might be a little bit more difficult in that sense. Just a different feel, different weight class. Even though Taveras is like technically the bigger guy, but it's just the feel. He hasn't felt someone in that weight class Pause. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack Jenkins on this matchup. All right, next, I think we got a guaranteed dub for the Aussies. I think they made this matchup so that Crute wins in front of an Australian audience, and they get all fired up, amped up, and kind of happy, and he has a cool like moment and post-fight speech or interview or whatever, and fire up the place and all that. Because the main event, I don't think is looking good for their guy, you know. And this is more of a guaranteed, definitely a more of a guaranteed dub for Jimmy Crute than for Jack Jenkins. I think all the matchups in the main card, at least. Actually, for the card overall, I think the Australians have the favorable matchup. I think they wanted to do it like UFC Noche, as you saw, every Mexican fighter won. I think they're trying to do the same with this, just so that the audience is happier, that everyone there is happier, so they can come back. But I think this one is like a guaranteed matchup in that sense. I don't see anything in Erslan that could be a threat to Crute other than his power, and he hits hard and he throws big shots. But Crute takes hits like the man has a chin and a half. Like he can get hit by a truck and he'll still recover. You know, this is like Theo Von if he took Tylenol, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I did spell Tylenol wrong. I spell like brands wrong, so I don't get copyrighted just in case. I really don't know how that works, but I'm just doing it just in case. Yeah, Jimmy Crute is really tough. He grinds it out, thrives in dirty fights. His grappling's pretty good, and he has good finish instincts on the ground. And yeah, once again, this is a favorable matchup for him in Australia. Um, Erslan's only chance is to knock this guy out, and I don't think Crute gets knocked out. He seems to take hits pretty well, you know. So I'm gonna have to go with Crute on this one via Tylenol. I mean TKO via ground and pound. Guys, our boy Dom is back. He is back, baby, and he's winning this fight. He's gonna shock the audience, and he's gonna put Mr. Carlos over here to sleep. Oh, Dom. So happy to see you back in a winning streak and potentially being back in title contention. Man, look at those wins, except for Anthony Smith. You know, he's fucking bum ass. But Nikita Krylov, impressive knockout. Dustin Jacoby, mid-tier fighter, but also impressive knockout. Dustin has really good striking. And I put John Jones there because everybody knows he beat his crusty ass, his criminal ass, his wife beating ass, his sus ass, drug addict ass, Tylenol using ass. I put it there. He beat John Jones. He got robbed. Everybody knows. Really impressive performance. Just went right at him. Strikes down the middle. And he won that fight, And yeah, sure, he's been knocked out. He got knocked out 3 times recently. 3 times in a row. But it was against a prime Jan. Jan was knocking out everybody. And a Jan that beat Israel Adesanya when he bumped up. It was really impressive at the time. Getting knocked out by Yuri, who doesn't other than Alex Pereira, There was a spinning elbow too, caught him by surprise. And then Ryan Spann, Ryan Spann is, that guy definitely took a lot of Tylenol. I've been saying a lot of Tylenol jokes lately, but he's taken a lot of Tylenol in his lifetime. He's not a very smart fighter, but in their matchup, he just happened to land. He knocked him the hell out. Spann's a big boy, so that's what happens when you use your brain and you actually fight right and you do good things. But we know Dom is John Jones' daddy. He's got that weird avatar looking body, long torso body, but whatever, it's fine. The only concern with Dom, it's his chin. Sketchier than Pat Barry. You know the whole Pat Barry situation. Literally fucking dating a child. Jesus. Ugh. Rose Namajunas. She's a woman now, obviously. But yeah, that's the only issue is the chin. He cannot he cannot have the same approach as Alonzo Menifield. I don't think many would. That performance by Alonso was sponsored by Tylenol once again. Just went right at him, like literally just no game plan, just marauded. And Carlos, being a technician, he's very skillful. He's a good fighter, just very boring, kind of like a wimpy style, bitchy style, just annoyingly skillful, just kind of like there's like leg kicks, like taps and little jabs, you know. Shit that nobody likes, but that gave Izzy like a bunch of title defenses. So I guess it works if you're good at it, but I don't think that's gonna happen against Dominick Reyes. Ulberg's not really good when it comes to inside boxing or inside exchanges. It's really similar to Izzy. Like they're both identical fighters. In those situations, they rely on hooks, uh, which is not ideal against a guy like Dominick Reyes. Everything is straight, mostly straight punches down the pipe, and he has a lot of power with it. So that could be trouble for Ulberg. I haven't seen anything other than his like skill set from what I've seen in the fights, but I haven't seen anything else that would prove to me that he would dominate Reyes. And I don't see him, even though Reyes is chinny, I can't really picture Ulberg knocking him out either, unless he would have like a really stupid approach like Manyfield here. But yeah, Ulberg. If I were Ulberg, I would stay away from the fence. Try to get space, get some distance, stay in the middle of the ring. If he stays in the middle of the ring against Reyes and counters everything he brings, Ulberg can get this. He can have this in the bag, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Reyes is gonna be too much. He's gonna put too much pressure. He's gonna put him against the fence, and he's gonna land a bunch of shots, and he's gonna break Ulberg down. I think he's gonna knock out Ulberg. I think he's gonna take him to the later rounds. Reyes has 5 round experience. He's been there in the biggest platform. He beat John Jones, so I don't think he's not afraid of anybody. I don't think he's afraid of Ulberg. Um, I think if he's gonna break him down, I think he's gonna break him down. I would say I'm gonna go with 3rd round KO. I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be like a flatline KO, but I think it's gonna drop him. They're gonna stop the fight. He's gonna be pretty convincingly. So yeah, I'm gonna go with our boy Dom here. And man, we're rooting for you, Dom. We want you to be back. If he makes an impressive performance here, well, you also got Yuri and Khalil Roundtree, so it depends how that goes. But if Yuri wins that, he probably gets another title shot. What if Pereira? Actually, I don't know. It's kind of tricky. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be very interesting. But anyway, if Dominic gets a really impressive knockout here, it'll put him in the conversation. It'll put him in the talks for title contention or even fight for the title. Um, if we had the Pereira of the past, uh, well, that's what he said. Now he's gonna like not. He said he's not gonna do like uh, last minute fights, um, just because of his last performance at Kalive. He got a little bit too banged up. He's gonna take his time. I believe that's what he said. But who knows? Maybe if Pereira puts easy work on Ank, Dominic puts easy work on Ulberg, and then Yuri and Khalil ends up being a barn burner. Quick turnaround, Pereira versus Dominic, if all stars align. And I think that's a tough matchup for Dom. But it would be cool to see him back in the title picture and getting a title shot. But anyway, I think this is going to be easy work for Dominick Reyes. And he's going to shut up the Australian crowd. I do love the Aussies, but you guys are going to lose on this one.